welcome to Roll History, a low DC dive into D&D for the ages. I'm your host, Sammy.
And I'm the alternative host, Alex.
We're both quite alternative, I think. So, today's episode is all about the history of D&D itself.
This is the full one, separate to the brief, redacted one that we did in that other mini episode.
Yeah, so if you're just looking for like a brief rundown of the different editions and what year they changed and what vaguely changed in them, just go check that out. It's only a short episode. This is a beefer. This is a beefer. It goes to the gym. It picks up the biggest weights it can. It eats so much protein.
It eats 100 proteins
a day.
It eats 5 Nutri-Grains.
Is Nutri-Grain a protein thing? I thought that was just like here, what you eat when you don't have time for breakfast.
It might be. It lifts the weights above its head, it drops them, it shouts, and then it jumps up onto a box.
Yes.
That's
what this episode is.
The one time I've ever noticed someone lifting weights at the gym.
Really?
He dropped it and then was like, ah, and then immediately jumped onto a nearby box.
I stay away from those areas. I only go to classes because I'm frightened.
That's fair.
Of exercise.
I've seen a gym cryptid.
Okay, so before we get into all the juicy goss, I got some thanks to make, some thank yous. So thank you, Wikipedia, for being a never-ending source of information. Thanks, Wizards, for a really nice documentation of the timeline. There's like a nice article. It does a timeline. It's great. It's very self-congratulatory, but, it was an anniversary article, so I'm not going to pick at them too much. Thanks, Art and Arcana. It's a really great book if you like art at all, or Dungeons and Dragons, or just either of those things. That was written by Michael Whitworth, Cal Newman, John Peterson, and Sam Whitworth. That was really good and helpful. Also, thanks 30 Years of Adventure, which was a 30th anniversary collection of articles by Harold Johnson, Steve Winter, Peter Adkison. I think I'm saying that right. Ed Stark and Peter Archer.
Human names are very difficult.
Names are awful. These are like
Aarakocra?
Aarakocra.
I can pronounce this.
Yeah.
This is fine for me.
Beelzebub.
Thanks, Beelzebub, for all the flies that you provide.
I'm very grateful for those. Thanks of Dyson Men, which was by David M. Ewalt. And thanks Design and Dragons by Shannon Applecline. So thanks everyone for submerging me in D&D content for the past 2 weeks. Here are some things I will not be talking about in general, in detail, because they would make this episode take 10,000 years. I will not be talking much about Gen Con. I will not be talking much about all the computer games, and there have been a lot.
I will not be talking very much about Aladdin.
That's good. That has no relevance to this.
Okay, I just wanted to contribute.
I won't be talking about the card game, the board games, the miniatures or the miniature game, the film. I
will be talking about the film.
I briefly mentioned the animated series, but that's because it's relevant for some of the juicy goss.
I will be talking about the anime, Konosuba.
Oh.
It's D&D.
I guess, yeah. Another thing I should mention is obviously the company TSR, Tactical Studies Rules. Tactical
Studies Rules.
Tactical Studies Rules, or the hardest company name to pronounce for Sammy for some reason. It changes its name a bunch of times. It's like TSR Incorporated, TSR Hobbies Incorporated, Tactical Studies Rules is like a full
Tactical
thing.
Studies Rules, Tunnel Snakes Rule.
It changes its name a bunch of times. I'm not going to detail every time that happens because most of the time it's not relevant.
They've just
or
changed
interesting.
It from Hobbies to Incorporated.
Yeah, and it's mostly just to screw people out of money and stuff.
TSR owes you money? Well, no, we're TSR. That's a different one.
Yeah. And finally, there's a lot of contradictions between people's accounts because obviously some of this is very personal. Some of this, they started it out as like a passion project, then it became a company, and everyone knows what happens when you get into business with your friends. It's bad.
Never do it.
So yeah, if you're like, oh no, this person would never do that. It's like, I'm only got, my notes have all come from books and stuff, and you can't lie in a book, so.
It's true.
You can lie on the internet, you can't lie in a book. That's obviously a joke. I know you can lie in a book.
It's magazines that you can't lie in.
Magazines, really?
Yeah, you can't lie in magazines.
Why are there so many articles?
Yeah, there's people from Korea that dig holes up into the ground. They're working on the nuclear reactor, and that needs to be replaced. There's a whole lost continent. It's a good omens joke.
I loved it. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me joy. Okay, let's begin. So we have to go back quite a way.
Do you want me to put like a harp sound effect in this?
Yes, please.
Okay, hold on.
Ooh. Ooh,
beautiful.
Yes. So now we're back in 1913.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on, what?
So this story starts off with H.G. Wells.
What?
You know H.G. Wells, the War of the World guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, the World of Warcraft guy?
War of the World.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought...
That is what it's called, right?
The World of Warcraft guy.
No.
It's not called World of...
War of the World.
So, in 1913, H.G. Wells created World of Warcraft.
No, that's not what I said. Anyway, H.G. Wells.
I assume you just brought him up because we used a time machine.
No, it's because he popularized war games.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Seriously.
Huh.
It's why I had to mention it, because obviously war games were a huge part of D&D's beginnings. That's when you have like loads of little men on a big map. It was normally like famous wars, Napoleonic.
There's several main eras for like where war games might take place. You've got
it's mostly European history.
Like some Russian stuff, and then obviously there's also the grim darkness of the far future where there's only a war.
No, they hadn't invented that yet.
Oh, damn.
Games Workshop are just a mere twinkle in nobody's eyes.
In
they haven't
H.G. Wells' eye, that's right.
He knew all this was going to pass because he'd been in his time machine. So yeah, he popularized the whole miniatures, war games kind of thing. And that was very popular. Well, I say very popular. It was a niche hobby.
But in terms of niche hobbies, it was pretty popular.
Yeah. So in 1970, a young man called Gary Gygax works with, I don't know his first name, he's called Perrin, something Perrin.
Jeff?
I don't know.
Jeff?
They just called him Perrin.
Jeff?
But they created a game called Chainmail. So this was more about medieval war games. And they liked their Chainmail game. It was wargaming. I don't really know what separated it from regular war games. I assume it had more rules or something, knowing Gygax's work.
Jeff?
Was it actually Jeff Perrin?
It's Jeff, yes.
All right, okay, cool. So they create this game Chainmail, and they also create a supplement for it called the Fantasy Supplement, which is a very creative name.
Hey, we're playing Chainmail here, but what if, instead of just guys being dudes...
You play guys being dudes, but they're fighting a dragon.
I was going to say like a meatball.
Oh.
Like a big flying meatball.
I mean, that could work too. Basically, it was to reenact famous fantasy battles or to create your own.
Did they happen to be large fans of J.R.R. Tolkien?
Oh, yes, we will talk more about that in a bit. They were big fans of J.R.R. Tolkien. Much to
the chagrin of J.R.R. Tolkien's estate.
So, yeah, in 1971, a guy called Dave Arneson creates Blackmoor, which was part of... Basically, Gygax, I don't know if he created or founded the society. I think he founded the society, but he made like a gaming society called the Castle and Crusades Society. And it was basically like a big shared world in Chainmail where everyone got to play different campaigns.
Hey, I love this idea. This is a real fun idea. Like, you know, you got all your adventures with all your friends and the different tables at your friendly local gaming store.
But it's all part of one big world.
They're all canon in the same world.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Hell yes.
So Dave Arneson, he's part of this. He makes Blackmoor, which is part of the Great Kingdom. That was what it was called. It was like a swampy, marshy area with big castles, with mazes and dungeons.
I built my castle on the swamp.
I know, right?
Sank into the swamp.
It used the chainmail system, but added a priest-like character, not a priest. A priest-like character, that's very important to say.
I know about this. I know the reason this was made.
No, that was later.
That was later?
Yeah, when they're actually making the actual thing. This was before. Yeah.
That's why it's priest-like.
Priest-like. It involved level progression and dungeon crawling. So in response, Gygax was like, hey, this is cool. I'm going to make Castle Greyhawk for the same society.
It's so not Castle Grey Skull.
No, Castle Greyhawk.
Very different.
Hawk, not skull.
Castle Greyhawk's got a hawk on the front. Castle Grey Skull. It's got a skull on the front.
You're all probably fairly familiar with Greyhawk if you're even vaguely into D&D. But this does lead to like a bit of an awkward bit, one of the first big contradictions when doing my research. So everyone knows that Gygax and Arneson met at Gen Con and he played Blackmore and he was like, oh, I love this. We're gonna work together to make D&D.
My name is Gary Gygax.
Yeah, that's my Gary Gygax impression.
Tubular.
So loads of stories say that. And loads of sources also say that they met through this society, the Castle and Crusade Society, and then they just wrote to each other a bunch about how much they wanted to collab.
I've heard both.
And then they met at Gen Con, and then they collabed. So,
oh, no, yeah, I've heard that. That's the version that I've heard. That's the version I've heard.
So maybe they met on a fateful day in Gen Con, and it was like a meet cute.
No, we did that joke in a different video.
Two fancy writers just...
One man named Gary thought he had it all. But little did he know he needed a little bit of fantasy in his life.
I mean, he was already making fantasy in his life.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, I mean, like, part of me was like, oh, I should do more research and find out exactly what happened. But then it's like...
This is before the game was even made, you know?
They're not even friends anymore.
H.G. Wells... Oh.
They start to collaborate and they work on the fantasy game.
Again, very...
Working title.
Untitled fantasy game.
Yeah, so this was 1973 they started working on it. Even after they finished writing it, they play-tested it for over a year.
That's good, that's what you need.
And it's very different to how you would play Dungeons & Dragons today. So,
okay, wait. What do you mean? Talk me through it.
Okay, so you're in a room with maybe 8 to 10 people.
This sucks already. That's too many people.
You're in like... From what Gygax's setup was that the tables were in like a circle. So you weren't really next... You were like... You know how in a classroom and there's like the gap in the middle.
Oh.
And then on a separate table.
You mean like in The Weakest Link?
Yeah.
With Anne Robinson in the middle?
No. You know, like a U-shaped kind of table.
Oh, right, okay.
Like at school.
Right.
And then on a separate table, kind of out of sight, that's where Gary Gygax sits. And
you'll never find me.
He hid behind a filing cabinet with all the drawers pulled out. And basically you all made your characters and you sat around and you'd be talking. And basically you had to like kind of listen for what Gygax was saying from behind the thing. It was like, so he basically wanted to be like a narrator in a film. But he kind of like, it was like, there were some stories about how it was like, it was difficult because you wanted to talk amongst your party friends to sort of decide what you were doing, but you had to sort of do it fairly quietly or else you'd miss what Gary would say. And then you might end up in a horrible death trap kind of thing.
We started making our plan too soon. Turns out that there was 100 goblins in this bucket above this door. And I missed when he said it.
One example, I might be remembering it wrong, but he was like, oh yeah, I had one player who got really excited about a treasure room. And he was like, oh, how much treasure is that? And Gary's like, oh, there's treasure that goes up to your ankles. And the guy was like, oh, cool, I'm going to put loads in my thing.
And Scrooge McDuck in this.
Gary's like, oh, the treasure is up to your knees. And it gets progressively higher and higher, but he doesn't notice because he's so preoccupied with the fact that he's in a room full of treasure.
About the treasure.
That I think it's something like a quicksand thing with like treasure on top.
That makes sense, yeah.
But it's like one of those where it's like, the dungeon itself wanted to kill you. The things inside the dungeon wanted to kill you, and the DM wanted to kill you. Also,
that is a feature of like if you read like Tomb of Horrors and things like that. Is a very good example of it.
Yeah.
The level of like contempt that the DM should have for their players is astounding.
Yeah. So they used the Blackmore Priest to create the cleric class, which was originally created to counter a vampire character.
Yeah, hey, my friend's playing a vampire. I want to play a guy who hates vampires and has dedicated his whole life to it.
To killing them.
Oh, well, we better invent a character class for that.
They struggled a lot with the name. I think everyone's heard this story, but I find it really funny, so I'm going to go over it. So basically, Gary just writes a list of things. And
he's just there. He's got like a napkin. He's like Dungeons, Dragons, Castles,
Crusades.
Crusades.
I mean, he likes alliterative names.
Gelatin.
So eventually
Aspic,
he polled his
Bowls.
players, which included 2 of his children, and that's why the common thing comes up, because a lot of people are like, oh, it was his children that picked it. Oh, it was his wife that picked it. And he himself says it was his players that he polled, 2 of which were his children, which is very funny because in the 30 years of adventure where that thing from him was, in the article previous, they'd said it was his wife.
My wife.
And I'm like, maybe you should have proofread these guys.
Sorry, I'm by law required. Whenever
it's
somebody
fine.
says about their wife, I'm required by law. Otherwise, it's entrapment.
But yeah, so they eventually picked Dungeons and Dragons, but you can see some of the failed names in the module titles. Men and Magic.
Oh, right.
Spells and Treasure.
Imagine if it was just called...
Spells and Treasure.
I mean, isn't it Monsters and Treasure? Or is that a different one? I mean, who knows?
That might be a different one.
Temple of the Frog.
Okay. So...
Hey, yeah, this game really led me to believe that there'd be more frog content in it.
Yeah, there's not much frog content. So, they want to make this game. The chainmail publisher at the time was only a small company.
Just one man in a living room.
I don't know, but they're not big enough to produce something as complicated as Dungeons and Dragons.
Fair.
So they make their own company. Tactical Studies Rules. I'm going to shorten it to TSR because I hate saying that.
Tunnel Snakes Rule.
Tunnel Snakes Rules.
It's still funny. Wow.
Even though they created their own company and they borrowed a bunch to set it up, they still needed more money.
Of course.
So Gygax collaborated with Perrin again.
Jeff.
To write Cavaliers and Roundheads, which was another miniature war game, this time set in Civil War England.
Hey, if you're in school listening to this and you're currently doing history and you're doing about
you'll be forced to do a module about Oliver Cromwell.
Yeah, if you're doing that,
the British school system is
you can get a
terrible.
lot of karma with your teacher by asking if the current prime minister would have been a Cavalier or a Roundhead. He'll love it, or she'll love it, or they'll love it. I don't know.
No, you'll get kicked out of class.
No, it's good. I got points for this in secondary school.
I don't think you did.
I did. It was Tony Blair at the time.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, I asked my teacher, do you think he'd be a Cavalier or a Roundhead? My teacher didn't have an answer, so he gave me some special points, which I redeemed with my parents, because whenever I got enough points at school, I'd tell my parents and they'd give me £1 coin, and I'd buy some bubble tape with it.
Oh my god, is this serious?
Yeah, it's a real story.
God. I wish I had special... I wish my parents had given me things. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry, we got off topic there.
So, yeah, they need more money.
We've got to have
So they've written
money.
this other game.
Sammy.
We've got
that. You can't just move on when I'm referencing the Tom and Jerry film.
I can try. So they end up getting some money from this. I think they got in some other partners, which ended up bad for them down the line, but
Mountain
whatever.
Dew, Doritos.
So let's talk a little bit about the art.
Okay.
The art of original Dungeons and Dragons, because unfortunately they had only $100 budget.
Hey, listener.
And also...
Hey, listener, it's Alex again. It's your boy Alex. I feel like I should mention before we get onto this section that Sammy is quite a talented artist, and she has
talented there.
She has opinions on how artists should be treated.
I think they should be treated fairly and also paid for their time. I think they should be paid more than $3 a monster portrait. I think that's disgusting. I mean, I know it was the 70s, but come on.
Yeah, come on, $3, that's like £3 in today's money.
So anyway, they had a really small budget, $100, which works out about $3 per monster portrait. And the artist, most of it was done by a guy called Gray Bell. I'm sure that must be Gary Bell.
No, it was the Grey Bell, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's Gary Bell. I don't think there's a guy called Grey Bell.
The Grey Bell.
Anyway, he was on a bit of a time crunch in that it was slightly delayed going to printers because he was on such a time crunch. So he ended up copying a lot of it from Doctor Strange comics.
Yeah, that's
specifically issue 167 of Strange Tales.
Sammy, you've got the receipts there.
There's some really amazing comparisons in Art and Arcana. Honestly, please look at it.
It's nice seeing that the official Art and Arcana thing actually recognizes that.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean? So many people glaze over that, and it's just like, no, this is really important.
We checked out a documentary on the art evolution in D&D. And nobody mentioned at any point the bit where,
to be fair, we didn't finish it.
I suppose, but nobody...
Maybe they mention it at the end.
They might mention it at the I suppose. But nobody knows which documentary I'm talking about, so it could be a different one.
Yeah, they ended up copying a lot. I mean, even the cover of Chainmail was copied from a famous medieval drawing. Because when you're hiring people who aren't necessarily super qualified or experienced...
If you're basically hiring people that pass by you on the street...
or your next door neighbour's son...
They're going to just do what they can to get results.
Fair enough.
And that's fair enough.
They still managed to produce a finished product. But yeah, 1974 it releases. You're expected to use and know the chainmail rules, which is very handy for people.
They would fit in the box, right? The chainmail rules. The box
no, they were separate, I think.
No, I know, but the box was appropriately sized.
Oh, yeah, I think you could fit
your chainmail rules in there.
Also, one thing that really makes me laugh is the subheading. Okay, so it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Cool.
Fantastic medieval war games campaigns playable with paper and pencil and miniature figures. Also, the very first printing was basically a photocopy of the final draft of Gygax. I'm saying Gygax because he did do most of the editing work, which we'll talk about later. Arneson was more of an ideas man.
Yeah, I've read some of that. Yeah. It's like, hey, Dave, can you send me that that draft of the thing that we've been talking about for 6 months? And it's like you get half a page of handwritten notes back.
Yeah. He was an ideas man. He liked, in some of his later work after D&D, he was more about, well, he's like, oh, here's a fancy thing, and it's like a springboard for you to make your own, like, I think he joked that it's a game system without a game system. So he was good at, like, notes about the world and world building and things like that, and not necessarily about the actual game design.
I've seen it said that the whole thing that Gygax was the crunch and Arneson was very much the man who put the role play part into RPG.
Yeah. But yeah, so the very first edition, or the first printing, I should say, Gygax was like, hey, so this is my final draft, there's still some typos, you guys are going to fix that before you print, though. And they're like, yeah, we'll totally fix that. Literally photocopied it. So the very first printing has all of Gygax's typos and...
Excellent.
Yeah, very good.
That's authenticity.
It was in a bad brown box, which tried to imitate wood and didn't look like wood and kind of looked like poo.
Look, is paper wood? Paper made from tree? Wood made from tree. Come on.
It came with 3 modules, Men and Magic, Monsters and Treasure, and Underworld and Wilderness.
Yeah, I was going to try and make a joke about how it had to be pronounced treasure because the photocopy had, whenever you photocopy something, there's always bits on it. Yeah. So it looked like there were diacritics above the E in
So it ends up being pretty popular.
Yeah.
People really like it. It exceeds its original budget, though.
That's fair.
Is good. So they have to take on another partner in the business, Brian Bloom, and then they can finally start producing and shipping it.
Nice.
Yay!
That's good.
They did it. Woo!
And that's the end of our timeline, folks. Well, thanks for listening.
We've not even finished original D&D.
This is a big game, you guys.
Okay, so it ships with those modules. It's not like the modules you know now.
These aren't your dad's modules. So there's no such thing as a character sheet. There was technically something they used at TSR for character sheets, which was basically like a tearaway notebook. But obviously that was for TSR employees. That wasn't something that actually got made and produced for the game. So people literally wrote their character information on pieces of paper. That's fair enough.
Maps were a big thing as well, because obviously you needed maps to play a war game.
Oh, it was very much, you'd have a cartographer in the group, right? You'd have to have somebody that would...
There is that, but there was a lot of borrowing from other games. So one of the things I really liked actually was, there was like, obviously you had your box set, but then like the unofficial essentials kit that you needed, a lot of people borrowed from other games, the main one being a game called Outdoor Survival.
Ooh.
So it was one of those where it's like, oh, if you want to play Dungeons and Dragons, yeah, you get the box set, and then make sure you got some paper and pencils and some miniatures, as it says in the title, but then also grab these maps because they're nice and outdoorsy and suitable.
It's good to have a resource for where you're going to get your maps and things. That's a tradition that goes on today.
I think so, yeah.
I will frequently get just top-down pictures on Google Maps. And just put a grid on.
Yeah, so I'm not saying they should have provided everything, but like it was interesting to see that the community itself was like, oh yeah, and get maps from this game.
Here's how you make it work. That's great, to be honest.
I think that's always the thing that I really admire about the D&D community is we're always very, let's see how we can make this work, even if it doesn't actually work. So in 1975, the Greyhawk supplement came out based on Gary Gygax's part of the Great Kingdom, his homebrew kind of thing.
Big castle with some tunnels underneath it. Head on down.
Yeah, no, that was Blackmoor.
Head on to Blackmoor and then down.
Greyhawk's a bit like Conan.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I could see Robert E. Howard's work being a big inspiration for highfalutin magical adventures.
So, obviously, you had some classes in original D&D. You had, like, Fighting Man.
Elf,
Dwarf, Wizard.
Magic user.
Magic user, sorry. In Greyhawk, they introduced the Thief and the Paladin. So you had more options, which was nice. In 1975, I don't know why they came out the same year.
Time is strange.
They released Blackmoor as well, again, and that had the Monk and the Assassin. I assumed the Thief and the Assassin were the same thing, but apparently not.
No.
Unfortunately for Dave Arneson, his beloved setting, it was kind of a bit sort of shoved together because most of the module was the very first adventure module.
Is this Frog?
The Temple of the Frog.
Yay!
I don't know what happens in this module, but
I was led to believe that there would be a lot more Blackmoor content, but it's mostly Frog content.
It's mostly Frog content. Also in Blackmoor, it's the first time that the DM is referred to as the DM. Because originally they were called the judge or the referee, which puts a really different spin on it, I think.
that is unhealthy because that promotes the idea that the DM isn't there to have fun as well. And that's something that I have strong feelings about.
Well, I feel like in original D&D and advanced as well, you were just there to try and kill your players, to give your characters, your players like a challenge.
I mean, that's because it was evolving from wargames.
From wargames, yeah. And in wargames, you have to fight each other because otherwise it's not a very good war.
I mean, there are no very good wars, are there?
Well, no.
War never changed. I'm making a lot of Fallout references today.
War is bad. Hi, listeners. It's me, your host Sammy, and also your host Alex.
That's me.
We're here to talk to you very sincerely about you.
I know it doesn't sound sincere the way that Sammy's saying it, but it really is.
We're only a small podcast. We've only just started. We've only just launched. So the fact that you, listener, are listening is like such a big deal, and we can't even begin to describe how thankful we are.
Yeah, that's super cool of you. We're working hard to make this as good as we can. We're really trying to get this off the ground, and you're a part of that. Wow.
Yeah. If you do enjoy the podcast, and I really hope you do, if you could leave us a review or, tell your friends about us.
If you think you got a friend if you have a friend that you think would enjoy it, not if you think you have a friend.
You probably do have friends.
Of course you do. You're cool and you listen to good podcasts and you tell your friends about them.
But yeah, any word of mouth is excellent and helpful, thank you. If you want to email us with any comments or anecdotes or suggestions for episodes.
Yeah, we're hoping to have I interrupted there, sorry. But we're hoping to have maybe we can read out some listener stories on the show. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. Mostly this section is just to thank you because, like Alex said, this is important to us and we're having a bunch of fun and we hope you're having fun listening.
You know how good it is when someone recognizes your work. When you put your drawing on, you made a sculpture with a ghost and you put a lot of effort into it and you put it up on a pedestal and it's so late, you guys.
Anyway, again, thank you so much. We're so grateful for you.
And we'll let you get back to the show. Thank you.
So in 1976, things get a little bit dicey. So,
oh, good one.
Thank you. Two other supplements come out. Eldritch Eldritch Wizardry and Gods, Demigods and Heroes. So Eldritch Wizardry tried to put back in some of the mystery and intrigue and danger that players felt they were slowly losing with Dungeons and Dragons. Because once you played it a couple of times, you know, you kind of know that there's Ross monsters going to jump out.
I know that around this corner, this is the part where there's the topsy-turvy, what is it? It's like a seesaw kind of mechanism that dumps us all into lava. I know that's there.
Yeah. And that mostly happened not only because, like, they only had a couple of settings, but also because Gygax wrote rules for everything. Literally everything you could think of that could happen, Gygax probably had a rule for it in D&D. And you know what? That's fine. Some people enjoy that.
That's what...
But for most people, it kind of sucked the fun out of it a little bit.
It depends on what you want in a game system, doesn't it?
So Eldritch Wizardry tried to fix that. It doesn't necessarily succeed, but that's when we get druids for the first time.
Oh, nice.
Which seems like an odd...
Listen, a druid's just an eldritch wizard. And so when a druid turns into a... I've got nothing. Sorry, please continue.
So Gods, Demigods and Heroes is timed badly because this wasn't really the start of the Satanic Panic, but this is when Dungeons & Dragons started getting some bad press.
Was this when Mazes and Monsters came out?
It's not when Mazes and Monsters came out, but when the thing that Mazes and Monsters was based on happened. So basically a teenager ran away. The private detective they hired was like, hey, he's got some Dungeons and Dragons on the wall. TSR, figure this out. And they're like, yeah, it's Dungeons and Dragons, what? And then was like, oh, he's into the occult and nasty. And then he turned up a year later, safe and sound. I mean, he wasn't safe and sound. He was struggling with depression.
It was real. He turned up safe and sound, and he was played by Tom Hanks now.
No,
like the boy in Big.
Suicide, unfortunately.
Shit, I was joking.
No, it's all right. I didn't realize that either, and I was really upset to find that
sucks,
out.
Yeah.
And it really sucks that
because there was that other kid that had a suicide connected to it as well, wasn't there?
There were quite a few, to be honest. But I do not believe that was Dungeons & Dragons.
No, of course it's...
no one... Well, people at the time believed that.
People at the time didn't understand illness.
No, it was hard.
Mazes and Monsters came out in 1982.
Yeah. So it was a few years afterwards. That was when Satanic Panic was pretty...
That's
getting
the
its
movie.
wheels. Getting its wheels. Yeah, the actual incident happened in 1976. So that's when there started being that sort of, like, worried parent culture kind of thing about, like, oh, you know... In the 80s, it's like video games and rock music, and in the 70s, it's D&D and Satanism. And basically, they were like, oh...
The novel was 1981. Sorry, I interrupted.
It's okay. So obviously, Gods, Demigods and Heroes talks about not real-life gods, because they didn't... Well, I mean, they did mention the Hindu gods, which was a bit of a faux pas.
That's weird, yeah.
Because, you know, they aren't real. They're on the same level as Thor.
They're on the same level as Thor and Eve.
But anyway, obviously they did depict religion in a certain way and people weren't happy about that. Also, to some people, it was very clear that even though teenagers were playing this game and sometimes younger, this wasn't a game for kids.
I mean, that depends on your DM, doesn't it?
I mean, it depends on which module we picked up because Eldritch Wizardry... What? What did I just say?
Eldritch Wizardry. Hello, I'm a druid. I've just been into a doost.
So the module Eldritch Wizardry... I cannot say it.
You did fine. You were good there. Okay, so...
The module...
What?
I wanted you to say it, so
sorry.
So when the module...
Eldritch Wizardry...
when that came out, on the cover, there is a naked girl on an altar.
Oh no! Get down from there. You might get hurt.
And
what if you trip?
Yeah, it's one of those where it was very poor timing because obviously they were getting bad press from this. And then obviously people were worried about like the sort of, oh no, this is clearly adult content because you have naked ladies on altars.
Yeah, that's...
Maybe my teenager shouldn't be playing this.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
When did Jack Chick make his...
Oh, that was, I think, early 80s. Yeah.
Listen, my name's Elfstar. I don't want to be Elfstar anymore. I want to be Debbie.
Yeah, there were some mature themes that people weren't sort of happy about. So things are getting a bit muddy. They have their own magazine, which was called The Strategic Review, which you notice also abbreviates to TSR.
Tunnel Snake's rule.
Well, they changed the name to Dragon. So now it actually sounds interesting. Oh, that's a Sami burn.
That's a sick burn there.
Yeah, they start recruiting artists and designers through this, and it's a really great way to showcase homebrew content, because that started popping up, like people designing their own monsters and things. They start seeing competitors rise up, and some of them...
Tunnels and Trolls.
Some of them they don't mind, because some of them are small and can't harm them, like Bunnies and Burrows, which was a Watership Down-based RPG.
That sounds shit hot. Whoa.
That sounds fucking awful. I will never play that. I'm actually terrified of that movie. It scarred me as a child. But some of them were sent cease and desist letters.
Tunnels and Trolls?
Tunnels and Trolls.
Was the, when you say non-threatening, do you just mean like how popular they were?
Yeah,
and,
basically the people that made Bunnies and Burrows were a small enough company that it was like, oh, this just brings attention to our brand. Whereas Tunnels and Trolls, because they use it like, oh yeah, if you like D&D, you'll like this. Oh, it's like D&D. But maybe better.
But maybe with a T.
Yeah.
But without the S and the R.
And they didn't like that. They did not like that. Gygax was very mad and made some really self-serving comments
I've seen some of his comments about it.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into everything he said.
I feel like we maybe should have put out a disclaimer on this that like a lot of people in the RPG community kind of deify Gygax a little bit.
I mean, he is very intrinsic.
He was very, very important, but also just a dude.
He was just a dude, and he did have some poor opinions on things. I mean, to be fair, if someone was copying all my work, I'd probably get a bit het up.
I know that he was upset about a lot of things. I know he was upset about the Satanic Panic, what with his being a pretty devout Christian.
Oh, no, he has some things to say about that later. We'll get into that. Don't worry. But anyway, Gygax is mad about some of these competitors, and I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's like, oh, this is bad. Which is really funny, because at this point in this time period, TSR were getting sued by the Tolkien estate for using words like halfling and ent and Balrog.
Oh, yeah, Balrog. Yeah. Is that a Balor now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had to change a bunch of names.
Halfling become?
Unfortunately,
Wait, no, not Halfling.
Halfling.
Hobbit.
Hobbit became
They were
Halfling.
using Hobbit, and it became
Hobbit. Yeah.
Sorry,
No, it's all right. It's very confusing.
It's like when you go to Asda and they've got Dr. Thunder, and I'm like, yes,
Dr. Salt.
Nobody drinks Dr. Salt.
But yeah, unfortunately, I can't find a date anywhere. So many people talk about this lawsuit and how they had to pay reparations and change it. Can I find a date anywhere? In any books? Online? Anywhere? No, it happened sometime in this period, because in later prints of original D&D, they had changed it. So it happened somewhere in this time period.
Treant.
And it's very funny. Yeah, they changed Treant as well.
Giant tree. It's not an Ent.
No, it's
Well, no, Ent became Treant.
Ent became Treant, yeah.
I mean, if they just removed them from the books in general, then that would have been Truant. Don't pity me.
So that's the end of original D&D. It's over now. It's not. It's never over. But we get to 1977, and that's when we get into the basic and advanced era. So
this one's the one that really throws you when you look back.
Yeah. So basic came out first, and it was a new, more accessible version with edited rules, simpler rules. So basically, TSR are like, oh, let's start working on the next one. And then this guy writes a letter being all like, hey, I love D&D, but it's way too complicated. And you have rules for everything. And I want to make a simpler version so I can play it. And his name was Eric Holmes, and he was a neurologist.
He wasn't just making it so he could play it, was he?
No, I mean, he was playing already. But I think he was like, hey, you know what? My children don't understand these 14 million rules about owning property and how to move, and armor class is weird and I hate it. And there's some kind of conflicting story. This is only a minor thing.
This is when it was for combat, they were still using chainmail's combat rules, right?
Yes.
So I could see that being something that you'd want to streamline.
So, as far as I can tell, Holmes volunteered to do this. And TSR were like, oh, that's great, thanks. In the wiki article, it says that they hired him, but that's the only place that says that. Everywhere else it says he volunteered to do this. And I'm just like, did they not pay him? I assume they must have paid him.
They paid him in exposure.
Oh, no. Oh. So the basic rule set comes out. It's in a blue box. It came in a nice box with rules, monster and treasure lists, not to be confused with the monster and treasure supplement from original D&D.
That's separate.
And it also came with supplemental materials.
Well,
we're very excited about these.
Are we?
Yes.
Wait,
So
supplemental materials, do you mean like
extra bits?
No, I know what supplemental means, but give me some examples.
So, it was the first box set to have dice, which really annoyed pirates.
What? Oh, people copy. Right,
because basically you could take a booklet and go photocopy it and give it to all your friends.
From the pirate.
You can't do that with dice.
But you can't take the pirate.
You can't take the dice to the photocopier and photocopy a dice. It doesn't work like that.
If you photocopy
so they had
each
to
side,
buy their own dice now. Ha 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 ha. There were also things called dungeon geomorphs, which were basically the very first dungeon tiles. Which is really cool.
Are these by the way, are these the dice that came with it? Are these the ones that didn't have...
These are not the cardboard ones. Cardboard ones were later due to a thing in China.
I thought that this came with the ones that you had a crayon and you had to... It was, instead of a D20, it was a D10, but it was the same printed on both sides and it was engraved.
Oh.
And so you had to use a crayon to colour in each side, and then the crayon would come off in the number.
Oh.
And then the red side was 1 to 10, and then the clear side was 11 to 20.
I have no idea. I've never heard that.
And then what would happen
fun.
is you'd end up with a slightly weighted dice because you coloured in some of it.
I hope so. That's hilarious.
It was just
good.
really fun.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, that was a thing that existed. It might not have been with this original
It probably
box set.
was with the original, if it's going to be anywhere, because that sounds like a huge problem that they probably fixed later.
That they probably ran out of money for later.
Yeah. So, the basic set of rules covered levels 1 to 3. You were expected to move up to the new brand spanking shiny Advanced Dungeons and Dragons next, which was very difficult for people because it didn't get released until a year later, and also it was only the it wasn't even the monster manual. Oh, and this...
so you get your basic D&D, you enjoy it, and then it's like, oh, if you want to progress past level 4, then buy this. Where do I buy that? They're like, it doesn't exist.
Go back to original for a bit. This is where the Wizard article gets a bit self-serving, because the monster manual. Its 350 monsters exert huge influence over subsequent fantasy gaming, both on tabletop and computers. And I'm like...
That's true, to be fair.
It is true, to be fair. You don't have to say that, though.
I mean, they shouldn't have put it in that font that made you read it like that, yeah.
And I just want to say that at this point... The art is still bad.
Oh.
Their budget is still very small for art. And it's also left way to the last minute. And it's like, I understand you've got all those rules to write, Gygax. I wouldn't want to, those are more important than the visuals.
It is weird hearing about how the art was so low down on the priority list
considering it's such a huge thing of it in later editions.
The reason that people noticed the game was because of the art.
Yeah.
So it does seem like a huge disparity between what the management thought was a good idea and what players actually liked.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that we'll get to later.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that because obviously, yeah. Yeah. I get they had loads of cool and unique monsters, and I know some people prefer like the simplistic, simple drawings so they can imagine it better in their head. But I find it very interesting that a lot of people's first experience in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition, there's so much amazing art and these gorgeous oil paintings, and it's like a huge cornerstone of fancy illustration, and it starts out as an afterthought, and it's just I guess it kind of grates on me because it's important to me. Anyway.
Listening to Sammy go through her notes and just like listening to her do research, and then occasionally I'll just be minding my own business, and then you'll just hear Sammy just be like, God, what? And I know it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm an angry woman. So in 1978, the Player's Handbook finally came out, and also the White Box Original Set. So that was the original collector's edition. So if you went...
OD&D, like special edition.
Yeah, so it was like it wasn't an anniversary because that was only 4 years ago, but they released a special collector's edition. So the Player's Handbook was a standalone book. So you could read that separately to like any adventure modules. And that's when they started releasing adventure modules because they realized that people were making their own sort of content. And this is probably a bit cynical, but this was a way to get more money out of a player base that had already bought.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, okay, well, you've got your monster manual, got your handbook. Here, have loads of adventures. And a lot of people like running those. And
absolutely.
Some of them are really amazing and are really fun. And that's it was a good market for them to pick up on.
It's a smart idea. You shouldn't just make a game that's like buy it once and then
because otherwise you fail as a business.
Create content for many years to come, yeah.
In 1979, the DM's guide finally happened.
How many years is that between those?
So Advanced, it was only a year technically.
I mean, I thought 5th was bad with the delay between its core books.
Nope. No, it was... Yeah. But now this is when Satanic Panic starts taking a bit more of a hold. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it's such a huge
It's something
issue.
Else entirely, isn't it?
That could be like a whole episode on itself. And this episode is already going to be long enough.
Yeah, we're probably going to
only on
this.
AD&D. So. But what TSR finds is that even though they're getting loads of bad press, their profits actually quadruple. Because this was before bad press was bad press.
All publicity
is good publicity. Yeah, people were like intrigued. They were like, "Oh, this game is supposed to turn you into like a fucking Satanist. Let's fucking play it."
Probably a lot of people that only discovered the game because
people were talking about it. Yeah. However, behind the scenes, they do start like softening their image. They're trying to sort of rework their branding, be more family friendly.
Did they?
It promotes literacy in children. Yeah. Even though they're super not for kids, as shown by the naked lady on an altar.
So this is still during 1st edition though, right?
This is AD&D, yeah.
Because I suppose that's something that we'll come to later, because I believe it was when Lorraine Williams was in charge of like removing things like half-orcs and assassins from the game.
Yeah. When it comes to the 80s, they're more aggressive about this is when the little tweaks start happening. Yeah. So, yeah, quadruple their profits. 1981, they release an updated basic set, which comes with the expert set. So now you can actually go from level 3 into some more levels. You don't just have to try and figure out advanced now.
Oh, was it 1 to 3, not 1 to... I've been saying 1 to 4 all this time.
Yeah, basic was 1 to 3 and expert was like the next set.
Dang.
Okay, so 1981, we get our first big setting for advanced. It's Dragonlance.
Oh. I was expecting something else.
It was a huge setting. Dragons were in charge. It's very cool. They started writing books about it. Those books end up saving the company in a bit.
So these are novels in Dragonlance?
There is a setting that ties in with the novels. So it ends up being like a whole huge part of the company is the novel publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that won't be a problem later.
I mean, everything's a problem later. So 1983, another new basic. This is the red box.
Yay!
Again, if you know my coloured boxes.
Classic.
So this was the Beckme version. So it had basic, expert, companion, master, immortal. This one is the one that didn't have dice, but the little cardboard chits.
Yep. It also is the one that had that iconic artwork of the guys climbing the statue to steal the gem from its eyes.
No, this was the red box.
I thought the red box was the one with the...
No,
I've got to edit myself out saying that then. Oh, shit.
That was the advanced... I don't think it was advanced 1st edition. It might have been advanced 2nd edition player's handbook.
Oh, the red book. It had the guy and he's like he's facing the dragon and the dragon's like doing like a pose and
this is also the year that Gygax creates a subsidiary of TSR called TSR Entertainment.
Huh.
He starts work on the animated series.
Is this the part where Gary Gygax has gone Hollywood?
Yeah, he moves to Hollywood and starts having a Hollywood lifestyle.
Hi, I'm Hollywood Gary Gygax.
Which, I'm sure that made him have lots of like celebrity connections later, which probably helped him out with his career later. But it was not good for a struggling company when you have to pay... I don't want to get too much into like the politics of the people.
We don't know anything about running a business either.
No, but Gary Gygax's expenses at this point were nearly $10,000 a month.
Ooh.
Again, not good for a struggling company.
I have a crippling addiction to yachts. I buy a new yacht every week.
He didn't have a yacht, but he was flashing it
I've
up.
become estranged from my wife. I bought 2 yachts last week. I woke up at 4 in the morning and I hadn't even realised, but I just bought another yacht.
Oh no! So, 1984, TSR is really struggling. Even though they're bringing in really big sales, D&D is really popular, the novels are really popular, they have a lot of debt and they're struggling to find money to produce new things. So basically, I'm not very good at business, but even though they're bringing in lots of profit, they're having to pay off their debts.
It's about overheads.
Yeah.
You guys. Capitalism.
So, because they don't have much money to produce really new things, they end up releasing The Unearthed Arcana in 1985, which is basically things published in Dragon magazine, but in a hardback,
in a nice hardback
cover, which is really good.
It's good for example, if you're making a podcast years and years later and you need to get reference, but you don't have access to each individual issue of Dragon magazine because, you know.
They also had 2 other books released that year, one of which was the Oriental Adventures book.
Cool. Like On That Train?
No.
Oh, the one where you're just constantly spinning and you're trying to figure out which way you're facing.
No.
It's an orientation joke. I don't know.
I wish it was. I wish people didn't feel like...
Listen, this was the 80s, right?
Yeah, well, early 80s.
Early 80s. Yeah.
But anyway, they also released a sequel to a big mega module from original D&D, the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. These did not save the company. The bad press was getting really bad. They ended up on the news. They were on talk shows. People were talking about how evil D&D was. There was like the whole worried mother society thing.
Jack Chick putting out his special books. Yes, my father tried to stop me from playing D&D, so I cast a sorcery on him.
Yeah. So, like, this was when they started making big changes. So deities and demigods was changed to legends and lore. And Gygax had a very specific thing to say about this, which I am going to say because it's sort of a sop bowing to pressure from those who don't even buy our products anyway.
That's a fair point, though. I mean,
no, it is. And I'm not saying that's bad, but when you're running a company that's coming under such flack and the company is there being like, oh no, we're family friendly, we promote literacy, we're all about teamwork and blah, and you've got one
there's the guy in charge, like, speaking from a stack of 6 yachts that he's on the top of.
Basically,
I know what you mean, yeah.
This is Gygax's fault because he tries to bring in new investors. This was when Lorraine is in.
This is some horseplay around him.
The stocks and
him
stuff.
selling his stocks in the company.
Basically, he bought a bunch of his stocks a bit ago to oust someone else out.
Yep.
And now he's had to sell a bunch because the company's in trouble.
Yep.
He brings in Lorraine Williams as a new investor because she's got a bunch of money and is good at things. And he immediately regrets that decision because she thinks he's a big man baby, basically.
They have a clash of personalities.
Have lots of clashes.
They have creative differences. Listen, here's another disclaimer. Everybody on the internet hates Lorraine Williams with a real passion.
Yeah.
So it's quite difficult to find sources that seem unbiased, I suppose.
At the end of the day, it's a business. Everyone's going to hate each other because you bring money into anything and it's bad. It's bad. And they were very, I think Gygax has a problem of working with people he doesn't actually work very well with. Like him and Arneson didn't get on. Oh, at this point, no, I'll talk about Arneson in a bit.
That's a future.
But he brings in Lorraine thinking it's like a quick fix. Oh, she's got money. She'll know how to do management things. Their management style, the company in general, was very weird and loose because they were like a small company that had just grown.
Just a bunch of
and they just didn't know how to grow, basically.
Yeah.
They were bad at it. Basically there's a big hoo-ha. Everyone wants Gygax out and they end up buying him out.
Which is weird. Like, if you look at this sort of thing online, then you'll often see it framed as an almost heroic decision on Gygax's part. He's like, oh, I'm not going to stay around in this sinking ship, so I'll just sell the rest of my shares.
No, he gets bought out.
To the she-bitch.
He has less than $500,000 worth of shares at that point, and they just buy him right out.
It's, just to reiterate, it's difficult to find sources that don't seem weird. about all this.
Yeah. Obviously, Gygax is very unhappy about this. He tries to sue the company several times, trying to say that the sale of shares wasn't legal, how he was like sort of screwed out of it, and no one really agrees. But I think he does get some money from the company. But yeah, that's the end of Gygax at TSR.
He sails off into the sunset.
I don't think he actually had any yachts.
At the head of a fleet of 16,000 yachts.
Oh, goodness.
And it was quite beautiful in a way.
Yeah. Into the sunset. Off he goes.
Off he goes. Later he appears on a Futurama episode about it.
He does, yeah. He also tries to make Dungeons and Dragons style content and gets sued.
Yeah, yep. Oh well,
let's have a break.
A lot of history, isn't it?
Let's go get a cup of tea.
Let's go and
go get a cup of tea.
We'll take a minute and we'll come back to this in the second part
of the D&D timeline.
D&D timeline 2.
AD&D 2, and we're not up to AD&D 2.
Oh, geez.
There's still like a bunch more.
Oh, it's almost like nearly 1,000 years of history.
I mean, this is with me cutting a bunch of stuff out as well.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the D&D movie with Jeremy Irons.
Oh, I'm gunning out now. Goodbye.
Wait, no, we have to sign off. Okay, yeah, we're coming back to this in the second part. So, that means we get to do the sign-off.
Okay.
So, thank you very much for listening to this part 1. Join us for part 2 in the feed if you want to. In fact, why not subscribe to the feed on, iTunes or wherever you get your cool podcasts.
Yeah, and
while you're doing that, maybe leave the review that says, "Hey, I'm enjoying this show and I'm liking it."
Yeah, and if you want to, tell your friends about us. If you don't, that's fine too. But maybe tweet us.
We're trying our best, you guys.
Maybe tweet us or email us about your experiences.
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at Roll History. You can find us on Instagram at Roll History.
Or you can email us.
That's at rollhistory@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We don't use Hotmail because we live in the future.
Ooh.
And then we'll do the scenario part.
Okay.
I'm going to do it this time.
Okay.
So, Sammy, here's a dice. Why don't you roll history?
Okay.
You've been doing some research in the grand old library of Arkansas. And you need to find
Lake Geneva,
and you found history of an old ass sorcerer who invented the world, and you need to stop him from
destroying it. Well, I rolled a 13.
You look through the book, you turn the page, and then you sort of like put your finger down the column, and you're like, "Whoa, what's this?" It's an old spell you've found to save the world. With a 13 and your +9 bonus from all the research you've been doing.
Oh, thank you. I'm a scholarly wizard.
Yes, and you recite the spell, and the book like floats up into the air, and then like a portal opens, and then 100 yachts fly out.
No! I've destroyed the world with yachts.
It's mostly yachts.